In this video, we'll be talking about the basics of Minitab, which is the statistical software that we'll be using this semester in order to analyze and look at data. So the first thing that we want to talk about is how to open Minitab. There will also be a handout in D2L that you can find that will be about how to rent Minitab if you're not able to get to campus and go to our labs to use Minitab. So if you're on a computer that has Microsoft 8 or higher, then you would just go to the main startup screen and you can just start typing and it will bring it up. And all of these directions are written out in this Lab 1 instructions file, so you can have that available as well. And feel free to pause this video as you're going through the lab so that you can work on the lab as I'm doing things. So the first thing that we want to do is open the file. So I want to just go and I just start typing, and we can already see after typing an M I've got Minitab 17 there, so I just click on that and that will open up Minitab. The next thing that we need to do is talk about worksheets and projects. So you can see this bottom half of the screen it is a worksheet, and this window up here on the top half is called a session window, and you can see I just clicked on the session window so it's a little bit darker, and if I go click on the worksheet then that becomes a little bit darker. So you'll have to be aware of what you're clicked on when you're trying to do certain things in Minitab as well. A worksheet is basically, it's like an Excel spreadsheet, and so you can give your columns names. So I could call this height, and you just click on it, and then you could just start typing what you want to call it. And then I could call this one weight, for example, and you could type in anything you wanted to here. And then to type in data, you would just click on the first cell and you would type in what you want to type. So and then just push enter and that will get your data in there. And then we can enter in some weights. So here's some hair colors. So there's some data in the table that you could enter. And you notice that this says C3-T now because this has been now designated as a text column. There are different types of data, numerical data, and then there are also some text data, which is why that has the T there. Okay, so this is what we call a worksheet. The top is what we call a session window, and you can find all of our data files. And if you want to close any of these worksheets, you would just click on this X over here attached to the worksheets. And then it'll ask you, do you want to save it? And I just made this up, so I don't want to save it, so I'm going to click no. And then, so step 3 is on this, on the instructions are downloading the Minitab worksheets. So all of the Minitab worksheets or data files that we'll be working with, I have uploaded in D2L. So I'm just going to log into D2L and show you where those are. And so go ahead and click on our course. Okay, so we want to go and click on content, and just remember I'm an instructor. I'm in here as an instructor, so things might look slightly different for me than they do for you. And I was just playing around with this, so as soon as I clicked on content, it took me to the right place. But so you click on the content tab up on top here, and that will bring up this window. And one of these tabs on the left here, I don't know if I'm going to leave it right here. I probably will because it's something that you'll be accessing frequently, is the data files. So you would click on that and then it will open up the window with all of the data files from our textbook. So they're all there. We're going to open up this cars data file, and so you click on this arrow and it brings up some options. I may have more options than you do because, again, I'm an instructor and so I can do more, but you want to download this file, so click on download, and then it should give you the option to either open with Minitab or save the file. And sometimes if you don't have Minitab, then it won't be set as your default, but if you have Minitab on the computer you're working on, this should be the default for the open with. You can also choose to save this file. We'll be using these files a lot, so it might not be a bad idea to just have it saved on your personal computer if you're doing this at home. So go ahead and save it if you want to, but we're just going to open it for now and click on OK, and it will actually open up a new Minitab window for me with all of this data in it. So that's how you open up a worksheet when the worksheet is on D2L. You can, if it's local, you can just click on this folder up here, and I'll just close this and show you how to do it in that way. And you can also open Excel files in Minitab as well. And so you would want to go to the location of your files. And again, so this is just all Minitab files right here in the lower right hand corner, but if you click on that it gives you different options, so you can use Excel files too if you want. And it's actually giving me the option to open Excel files when I have all Minitab files selected. So I have them actually saved on the L drive, so we're going to go to the L drive, and if you're on campus in a lab computer you should be able to access this as well. So again, it's the L drive, and then you would go find my last name Green, and then you can find all of these files there. So we'll just open that. So I just double clicked on that, or you can highlight it and then click OK. So again, now I have the cars file open. So the next thing on here is saving data files. So if we had entered this, or if I wanted to save this somewhere else, so right now I have it on the L drive, say maybe I want to save it on my own personal files or on my desktop, we would want to save worksheet as. So save worksheet as is going to save this lower half. So we'll save worksheet as, and then I'll go put it in our 1103 file there. Okay, so let's take a look at creating a graph. So you would go click on graph, and graph is what you'll be doing next week, so it'll be kind of nice for you to take a look at some graphs. And let's just do a histogram, just a simple histogram of some data. Click on OK when I have just the simple one, and then to select which, so we have to select which of these columns we want to do the histogram for. And in order to do that, first of all, you want to make sure that you have your cursor over here in this graphs variable box, and then you can just double click on whichever one of these we want to look at. So let's just take a look at weight, or you can single click it and then click select, and that will bring it over there as well. And I'm not going to do anything special with this. I'm just going to do a histogram of the weight, and so then I would just click on OK, and it will bring up a histogram for me. So so pretty easy to use, and we could also do some statistics, get the basic stats, display descriptive statistics, and do this for weight as well, and then go click on OK, and then so it brings up all of this information. N is how many data values are in that column. It gives us the mean. It gives us standard deviation. The minimum is the very smallest value. It gives us something called Q1, which we'll talk about later, the median, Q3, and then the very largest or the maximum value. So you can get a lot of information that's really useful and very quickly with just a few clicks. So the other thing that you can do is you can save a project, and so to do that you would click on File again, and then instead of right when we wanted, so now I don't even have the option to save a worksheet. If you want to save this data file, whoops, then you want to make sure that this is, that you clicked on it, and then when you go up to File and you click on, you have Save Project As, but you also have the Save Worksheet As. So if I'm clicked up here in the session window, then when I go click on File, I don't have the option to save my my data file anymore. So we want to save the project, and I'll save that in the same spot. And so that is how you would save either a data file or your project that you're working on. And so now I believe when I close this, I can open, so I closed out of it, but this was an extra Minitab window that was open. So now if I click on Open, I'm sure I put it in the online section. So there they are. So Minitab was my project, Cars is just the data file. So if I click on this one and open it up, and it's just warning me, do I want to save a project that I haven't done anything in. And so now my descriptive statistics are still here, and it also opened up the Cars data that I was using while I was working on that. So down here is where you can find all of the information. So if we restore this up, then you can see everything that you did in your data file when you had it open in the project manager. So when I click on graphs, now I see the histogram of weight, and so then I can open that back up. Printing and closing. So it's telling me that this is going to be removed from my project and I can't save, or do I want to save it? And I don't want to save it, so I'm just going to click on no. And so now it's not there anymore. I'd have to go redo it, which is fine. So I'm going to minimize this by clicking that little minus sign. And if you want to print, so you can print this session window, just make sure you have it highlighted. Whoops, I didn't really mean to open it all the way up. So you just want to make sure you're clicked on that, and then you would go to File and then print the session window. And you can go to printer setup as well if you would like to. If you want to print off a data file, again, make sure it's selected, and then you would go to File and print your worksheet. So it's only going to let you print whichever one you're clicked on, so be careful of that. So that is how you would print things. And I'm just going to quick do a graph again because I wanted to show you some stuff about the graphs as well. So let's go back and just do a histogram of the weight. And everything's all set up in there already because it stores what you did last. So here, if you have this, if you just click on the bar that says histogram of weight, this blue one up here, and if you press Control C, then you can, so Control C copies whatever you're looking at, and then to paste that into a file, so sometimes I'll want you to provide graphs for me, you would press Control V when you're selected in that file. So there is the histogram of the weights, and then you can change the size of this if you don't want it to take up that much space. You would just click on, the best way to do it is from the corner. So you can resize that as smaller or as big as you would like. So, so yeah, I think that that's pretty much all we needed to talk about. If you're working on a school computer, make sure that when you're done using Minitab that you actually close out of Minitab. So again, it's just warning me that it's not going to save that, and I'm fine with that, so I just closed it, and then closing Minitab, you would make sure you click on the red X. Only so many students can be using Minitab at the same time, and so you need to make sure that you actually close out of there, because if you accidentally keep it open and you just log off of your computer, there's a chance that it's going to think that you're still working in Minitab, and then it won't allow someone else possibly to use it. So make sure that you are closing out a Minitab when you're finished. So I think that's it. If you have any questions about anything at all with Minitab, or getting things started and getting that first lab finished, let me know, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye.